Yo, what's up guys, it's Talon. Today we're going to be explaining tempo in Wild Rift, what it is and how to use it. So going on to what it is, basically tempo is your turn. So when you have tempo, when you kind of have the tempo advantage, it's your turn to try to make plays, whether that's going for vision, going for kills, being more aggressive, things like this. And then when you don't have tempo, it means that it's kind of not your turn to really do things. You need to chill a bit, you need to maybe take a reset, do other things like that. Let the enemy kind of have the turn. So we're going to explain what exactly that means, what scenarios we can utilize tempo in, and just how it works as a whole. So let's get right into it. Okay, so one way to utilize tempo is to make sure after you get a kill in lane that you're pushing the lane as fast as possible and then leaving. That way the enemy is going to lose that minion wave. That means that as soon as a kill happens, you just want to get the wave pushed very quick. So you're going to see here, the enemy is going to be very low and then he's going to die to my jungler soon after. And I'm going to immediately push the wave and try to get it to go under their tower. That way I'll deny the enemy gold. And now I'm going to show you what happens in a scenario where it even doesn't really work out very well, because I end up getting ganked by the enemy and then dying here, and maybe I could have even made it out. But the reality is, it doesn't matter too much whether or not I survive this or don't survive this. I even could have just stayed on that wave and pushed it all, so I got more gold from that wave. Because at the end of the day, if I get that wave under the tower, the enemy will lose that gold, or the top laner will not get that gold, so I'll have a bigger advantage. Meanwhile, their jungle has to take that gold, and their mid laner have to take that gold. That means that their mid laner and jungler are spending more time on other parts of the map rather than ganking or helping my teammates, and I'm denying the enemy gold that they wouldn't be getting otherwise. And this is in a scenario where it doesn't work out, where I end up getting ganked immediately after getting a kill. Then we're going to show what happens in a game where I actually utilize this same strategy, but the enemy don't end up ganking me right away, and then we get an even bigger gold lead. Okay guys, so we're in a similar scenario here now, where I'm fighting the enemy top laner, and once again you're going to see that I'm going to kill him soon here. I'm going to take a trade with him, try to obviously win this trade. I'm going to see that the enemy are on the opposite side of the map, so I know I have a little bit of time as well to trade more aggressively. Because of this, I'm going to go for the trade. I'm going to play more aggressively because I don't have, a jungler to worry about ganking me or anything like that. And then I'm going to go in here, going to win the trade and end up getting that kill there. And you're going to see, obviously I have to avoid the Sion clone first, but as soon as the Sion zombie dies, I'm immediately pushing that wave as quick as possible, and I'm once again denying him gold. You're going to see this time, obviously there's no one to gank me or anything, so now I'm denying the enemy gold, getting as much gold from this wave as possible rather than just instantly recalling. But then I'm realizing his death timer is pretty short and he's going to have Sion ultimate, so I'm not overextending for a turret plate because of that reason. So in a scenario where, say, I killed him and it wasn't a Sion, so I didn't have to deal with the Sion clone, I killed him quicker and I knew the enemy jungle location, in that scenario I would be okay with going for one turret plate. But in a scenario like this, I'm just killing the turret plate, or rather I'm killing the minion wave, pushing the wave under tower, and immediately recalling so that I don't waste too much time. Okay guys, so this next one's going to be a kind of long sequence of events that sort of shows you guys what I mean too about how to utilize tempo. So in this scenario, I'm going to kill in lane here against this Yasuo in a very close fight, and then you see again, I go for immediately pushing the wave rather than recalling. However, you're going to see that I end up getting ganked by a Graves here and dying. And so obviously this isn't great, but once again I push the wave, so I'm not losing out on as much because now their jungler has to take that gold and then their top laner loses out on that gold. Or again, if they didn't do that, then it would crash on the tower and it would be good for me. And so another thing to understand about tempo is jungle pathing. And so after a jungler has been on your side of the map for a while, they're usually going to go to the other side because their camps are going to be respawning there. And so because of that, I know that I can be more aggressive in this lane matchup, especially if I'm able to get a kill. So you're going to see here again, I'm going to end up killing this lane in a little bit here, and I'm going to be able to overextend. So here I just got a kill that we just saw there, and now I know their jungler just ganked me, so he's probably not going to be here. So I'm going to go greed for more turret plates compared to what I normally would. So you're going to see I'm going to get multiple turret plates out of that exchange, whereas before I would have just pushed the wave because I didn't know the enemy jungle location, but now I can expect the enemy jungle to not be there. Then here we're going to see I'm going to end up getting turret dove by the enemy jungle again later on here. I'm going to die in this scenario, and so once again I know the enemy jungle is probably not here when I come back to lane. So now I'm going to obviously go here, go for the fight, but then I know their jungler is definitely not going to be here anymore. One, because the objective was taken here, and two, because he was here quite a while ago. So if I'm able to get another kill here like I am, I'm going to know that I can pretty much kill this entire turret here. Now you're going to see this turret goes all the way from 1680 health with turret plates to 0. I get a turret here. Now I have a 2000 gold lead despite being ganked multiple times in lane and having multiple deaths in lane. I only have 2 more kills than my opponent, Yasuo, and I still have over a 2000 gold lead due to the fact that I utilize tempo to understand when I can go for turret plates, and even when I'm dying, I'm at least getting the wave push so that the enemy jungle gank does not impact me as heavily as it may impact some other people who aren't utilizing this. And then once again, I'm utilizing the fact that the enemy are in other parts of the map. I'm using my strength now to even go and push other turret plates, continuing to push my lead even further. And then, being so OP with how much gold I have at this point, I'm literally able to kill someone from 100 to 0 under tower, get an entire another turret. And again, I'm 4-2, but my gold lead here is incredible. Okay guys, so this next example is going to show how to use tempo in the later parts of the game. So a common usage of tempo is going to be after you end up getting kills later on in the game, not instantly recalling or backing, but rather using that time to extract as much gold as you can from the map. So you're going to see we win a fight here, and so I know the enemy are probably not going to be looking for much, so I'm going to immediately get the mid wave, go bot lane right away, take a scuttle crab, and then get this entire wave in bot lane. So a lot of people would have just recalled right after that fight, but instead for me, I'm looking for about 100 gold in the mid lane, another 100 something gold from that scuttle, and then another couple hundred gold from this wave. So I'm getting an additional probably 500 gold that a lot of people wouldn't be getting because they would just be recalling right after winning that fight. So understanding once we've won a fight, we have time to maybe take enemy jungle camps, to take other waves, to do what we can, but then making sure that we recall fast enough so that the enemy don't respawn and then don't come and kill us. So we definitely don't want to overextend. So you're going to see I still do recall once the enemy are starting to respawn and it's no longer my turn. I no longer have the tempo, and then I'm again going to now go to another part of the map looking for even more gold. Okay guys, so this is really useful when you don't really know how to actually push your lead that you have in lane. So for example, I'm winning this lane, I'm winning the trades, and I have more gold in the lane, but I'm not really able to kill this guy because he's playing pretty safe under his tower. And in situations like this, you can actually just use back timers to end up backing on a good item recall for you and then use that advantage. So here, I know that my boots are a really good power spike for me and I just get them off that. So I'm immediately going to recall. This leaves him stuck clearing the wave, which means that I get a recall, I get to come back to lane faster, and then he either has to recall, maybe he'll get the same item as me, but I'm going to be back a lot quicker, which means that I can freeze the wave on him and gain additional gold that way. Or he overextends as he does here, and then he's going to get stuck in lane with not a great wave and also not having spent his gold. So again, you're going to see here, he's going to then try to push the wave really quick because he wants to have enough gold. I'm going to be in a situation where I can easily freeze here, and I actually make a mistake where I should have froze this lane, and instead I don't. But even though I don't, I'm still able to get back, get a lot of gold from the lane, and now have the decision to do whatever I want. So for example here, I could go for the Scorpion if I wanted. I can sit in the bush and kind of wait for him. I have a lot of options with what I want to do because I was winning that lane and just pushed the lane and then recalled on a good item spike rather than trying to overextend and greed to try to kill him under his turret. Okay guys, for this final example, I'm going to show you what happens when you end up making a mistake with your tempo. So in this game, the enemy overextend after getting one kill, and then they all end up dying for it, and they get really greedy. And so because of their greed, we're ending up getting a lot of kills on them, which allows us to be in a position to now come back in a game that was nearly unwinnable. But then you're going to see here, we go for this turret plate, which is what we should do because we have a good time. You know, we have the tempo again to make the decisions. But then we overextend when the enemy are already starting to respawn, and we try to go for a turret when we don't know where two of the enemies are. Camille is respawning, and we don't really have the time to be doing what we're doing here, so we're really overextending and getting really greedy. This leads to us getting caught and now throwing the advantage that we had. So you can see both the enemy overextend and try to go, you know, and do too much with their tempo after getting a kill, and then after we kill them, we also overextend, which then leads to just kind of a teeter-totter of both teams, throwing the game back and forth. Where if we had just utilized our tempo more properly, taken recalls quicker after extracting what we could from the map, then we wouldn't have thrown this game in the way that we did. Okay guys, to reiterate, tempo essentially means that it is your turn when you have tempo, and when you don't have tempo, it's essentially not your turn to make plays, and you have to let the enemy more make the plays. And overextending like that is going to be what usually leads to a lot of throws and makes you lose a lot of games that you couldn't. So I hope you guys kind of understood a bit more of how to utilize tempo and how to not utilize tempo. If you guys are interested in coaching from a rank 5 sovereign autofill player, just $15 an hour, just DM me on Discord through the link in the description or adding my Discord Talon1169. If you liked the video, like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.